For decades, whenever the British royal family stepped before the lenses of the world's press, one question rippled through newsrooms: would it be the monarch who set the tone, or the glamorous Princess of Wales who quietly stole the scene? King Charles III may wear the crown, yet Catherine, with her effortless warmth and steady, unforced smile, so often commands the brightest center of the frame. Her ascent from supportive consort to strategic cornerstone of the modern monarchy has reshaped palace optics, and the latest week of pageantry proved it yet again. The schedule looked flawless on paper: a birthday parade for the king, a star-studded day at Royal Ascot, and a picture-perfect balcony moment to tie it all together. Yet within a handful of hours the choreography slipped, first when Princess Anne's carriage jolted to a halt, and later, far more dramatically, when Catherine vanished from the running order 30 minutes before she was due to arrive at Ascot. By sunset the headlines weren't about Charles's birthday at all. They were about the princess who wasn't there. The day began, as royal pageants so often do, with a symphony of trumpets, the clip-clop of polished hooves, and a blur of Union Jacks fluttering beneath a hazy June sky. Programs predicted perfection: Charles and Camilla at the head of the procession, William and Catherine poised to dazzle the grandstands, Princess Anne waving from her carriage, senior dukes and duchesses marching in ceremonial lockstep. Nothing, it seemed, could jar the timetable, until reality delivered two unscripted jolts. Mid-procession, Anne's landau shuddered to a stop. A mechanical fault, no danger, just the sort of hiccup that makes footmen blanch and equerries sprint. Spectators gasped. Social feeds lit up. The Princess Royal, famously allergic to fuss, simply tightened her smile and looked ready to hop down and fix the problem herself. Within minutes the horses were rolling again and the crowd cheered, but the first crack in the royal facade had appeared. The larger rupture arrived hours later at Ascot. Glossy programs had listed the Prince and Princess of Wales among the day's star attractions, and fashion editors were already drafting copy about the pastel masterpiece Catherine might unveil. Then the palace issued a quiet correction: the princess would not be attending after all. No explanation, no warning. Camera crews scrambled, hashtags erupted, and racegoers scanned the royal box in vain. Official spokespeople insisted Catherine had never been confirmed, yet the printed itineraries told a different story, and seasoned reporters know those documents are vetted inside out. Into the vacuum rushed a storm of theories. Did lingering side effects from chemotherapy force a late rethink? Was a cough she could disguise at Trooping the color now too persistent to conceal under Ascot's unforgiving lenses? Or had doctors simply advised caution in a week already dense with obligations? The speculation was understandable. It has been barely 6 months since the palace announced Katherine's remission from cancer on the 14th of January 2025. Her carefully managed return to public life has been inspiring but undeniably strenuous. At the King's birthday parade days earlier, cameras twice caught her lift a hand to her lips, quietly stifling a cough, once while seated beside Charles and Camilla, and again on Buckingham Palace's balcony as fighter jets roared overhead. Her posture remained regal, her smile true, yet each movement carried an unmistakable hint of effort. That context made the Ascot scratch feel heavy. Catherine is much more than royal decor. She is the monarchy's most bankable ambassador. Her photograph sells newspapers, her wardrobe fuels entire micro-industries, and her ease among schoolchildren and veterans alike softens headlines that might otherwise dwell on constitutional headaches. Remove that magnet even for an afternoon and the void feels disproportionate. Into that space stepped her mother, Kate Middleton, arriving at the Berkshire racecourse with the unflashy confidence of someone who has walked Buckingham Palace corridors without losing her village green warmth. Beside her were family friends Thomas and Lucy Van Straubenzee, and Katherine's sister-in-law Alize, reminding onlookers that the House of Windsor is sustained by a wider constellation of supporters. They smiled for cameras and provided, if not the star wattage of the princess herself, a reassuring sense of continuity. Behind palace walls, aides were already recalibrating. Courtiers speak in carefully coded tones about finessing what works and what doesn't. Translation: they are learning how to balance Katherine's ongoing recovery with the monarchy's relentless schedule. She dazzled at trooping the color in a silver blue coat dress that set social media alight. She followed up on Garter Day, ribbons and orders catching the sun, as she bowed to the king. Still, doctors quietly insist on strategic pauses. Those pauses are not weakness, they are long-term strategy. Katherine understands the currency of visibility, but she also knows her lasting value to the crown depends on measured stamina, not heroic burnout. Nevertheless, absence sparks anxiety, and rumor loves a vacuum. Was she shielding an unrelenting cough from the paparazzi? Had physicians demanded rest? Or was the no-show merely a deliberate decision to conserve strength for this weekend's balcony encore? Whatever the reason, the princess refused to let gossip claim the narrative. Only hours before the Ascot drama, she authorized the launch of a flagship program through the Royal Foundation's Centre for Early Childhood, an ambitious pilot called Happy Little Minds. The scheme will embed mental health specialists inside nurseries across 5 counties, pairing them with early years teachers for an entire academic year. Data will track vocabulary growth around emotions, reductions in behavioral incidents, and parental engagement metrics. Should the numbers impress Treasury officials, ministers have hinted that nationwide expansion could follow. Katherine's team framed the initiative as prevention rather than cure, a phrase that dovetails seamlessly with her decade-long campaign to prioritize emotional well-being in the first 5 years of life. Step back and a pattern emerges. Over the last 10 years, Katherine has built a 3-pillar platform: early childhood, mental health, and the binding power of community sport. Each pillar stands on its own, yet together they form a strategic lattice positioning the future queen not merely as consort, but as catalyst for systemic change. That evolution explains why her absence, however brief, reverberates so loudly. The institution is recalibrating around her orbit, just as it once revolved around Diana's charisma, or the late Queen's steadfastness. Meanwhile, Princess Anne's carriage hiccup offers a revealing counterstory. Where Katherine wields empathy and forward-looking vision, and embodies unvarnished duty. One model modernizes, the other reinforces continuity. Together they reassure a skeptical public that Windsor can still surprise, adapt, and endure. Royal Ascot, for its part, is no ordinary garden party. Founded by Queen Anne in 1711 and refined by sovereigns from George IV to Elizabeth II, the meeting is equal parts equine spectacle and sartorial summit. Mourning suits carry knife-edge creases, millinery balances architectural ambition, stewards prowl the Queen, an enclosure with measuring tapes to police hemlines. When Katherine debuted there in 2016, her ethereal lace dress sold out worldwide before the final furlong. Every appearance since has set social media algorithms humming. Little wonder the racecourse fell strangely flat without her pastel-painted presence. Her cancer journey has not been linear. In late 2024, unexplained absences stirred the rumor mill until, in December, the palace released a sober bulletin confirming early-stage malignancy discovered during routine tests. Surgery followed almost immediately. Chemotherapy began in January. Rather than retreat, Katherine chose selective visibility, a pre-recorded Christmas message, brief audiences at children's hospices, and finally that electrifying balcony return in spring. Each step was a calculated act of resilience, medicine for the body, proof of life for the institution. For royal correspondents racing deadlines, Katherine's Ascot vanishing act felt like staging Hamlet without the prince. Camera operators shifted focus to lesser-known royals. Social media editors scrambled for evergreen trivia about the history of the Gold Cup. Within minutes, #Where is Kate was trending worldwide, testament to modern fandom and the brutal speed of online speculation. Yet buried in the digital din was a quieter truth. Sometimes influence is measured by the noise that follows when you're not there. While the public puzzled, the king pressed ahead with his mission to streamline the crown, fewer working royals, sharper finances, a monarchy that feels value for money. Insiders say Charles welcomes Katherine's expanding platform. He recognizes that the crown's survival depends on renewed resonance with younger generations. William, for his part, has adjusted his own diary to flank his wife's stepwise recovery, a visible sign of partnership that modern audiences admire. And then there is Anne, Olympian, relentless, and still the hardest working royal alive. In a family increasingly open to confessional interviews, Anne remains allergic to oversharing. Her smile during the carriage hitch, a wry curve that seemed to say carry on, spawned viral memes celebrating Anne the mechanic. Yet beneath the humor lay deeper reverence. Here stands a 74-year-old, who still logs more engagements than colleagues half her age, proof that grit and routine remain crucial ingredients in Windsor's survival kit. Every reign, historians remind us, is defined not only by coronations and crises, but by 1,000 micro-adjustments, the cough discreetly concealed behind a gloved hand, the carriage restarted after a stubborn bearing overheats, the program line quietly struck through a name moments before print. In those small pivots the monarchy evolves, recalibrates, and prepares for its next century. Katherine's no-show, and stiff upper-lip repair job, and the king's measured birthday parade all belong to that tapestry of gradual change. So as the weekend approaches, all eyes turn once more to Buckingham Palace's famous balcony. Will Katherine appear, children clustered at her knees, her wave steady beneath scarlet RAF trails? Or will she pace her comeback with the same strategic patience she brings to early years policy? Either way, every lens within sight will swing toward her the instant she steps into view, because in 2025 the monarchy's future is being written as much in her measured breaths as in Charles's steady stride. Perhaps that is the deeper lesson of the Ascot absence. Royal power today is not confined to gold braid and carriage wheels. It is also the prerogative to pause, to protect health, and to redirect attention toward meaningful work rather than relentless ceremony. Katherine's brief disappearance sparked confusion, yes, but it also prompted conversations about cancer recovery, the invisible weight borne by public figures, and the evolving definition of duty itself. The next time a program lists the Princess of Wales only for her name to vanish at the 11th hour, remember, absence is not always retreat. Sometimes it is the strategic breath before a longer, stronger note. Sometimes it is the gentle reminder that even under crowns and coronets, humanity must come first. Until the next royal ripple, stay curious, stay kind, and, whether Katherine graces the racecourse or the school playground, remember that enduring influence is measured not by unbroken presence under flashbulbs, but by the quietly transformative work carried out far from the grandstands.